Sahana vavatu, Sahanau bhunaktu, Sahaviryam karavavahai, Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sairam everyone. We're going on to the third Anuvaka of Sri Rudram. Just by way of introduction, I will just give you some brief overview. Sri Rudradhyaye Tritiyonuvakaha. Sri Rudradhyaye Tritiyonuvaka. Which is Tritiya Anuvaka. Tritiya Anuvaka is Tritiyonuvaka. This Anuvaka consists of 17 Yajus mantras. And I think I mentioned earlier, Rik means it's more poetry. Yajus means it's prose, but it still has mantras, metrical prose. All the mantras again in this Anuvaka also start with the Namaha and ends with Namaha. So there are two Namakas in each mantra. They are called Ubhaya mantras, Ubhaya Nama. The other point is, even in this mantra, the oneness of God, that He is present in everything in this world. He is the master of everything and He is the one. And everything is part of Him. All those ideas come through in this Anuvaka. So it's called Sarvatmakaha. That means He is the Atman in every one. Antaryami, or the one who is the inner resident, the one who energizes, enlivens everything in this world. Whether it be it sentient beings or insentient, there's Chetana, Achetana, or Jada, Chetana, that kind. Jada means which is inert, Chetana means that which is alive. The real meaning of Chetana is that which is knows and something which you don't know. For example, even the small particles which are inert has divinity in them. But what they lack is that Chit Tattva, which is to know. That is not there. Otherwise, the divine principle is the one which it keeps it active, alive. This Anuvaka is found to be a bit problematic for many people because of the mantras which come, and we will discuss that when we go through the mantras. But that it proves that God is beyond good and bad. He is in everything. He is the one who makes this entire world run. And so those concepts come through very clearly in this Anuvaka, and we will look at this. The Rishi, Chandas and Devata, just information purposes I share. The Rishi is considered Mahadeva himself. The Lord himself is the Rishi. The Chandas or the meter is called Brihati. And Devata, the deity which is described is also Mahadeva in this. Okay. So that's in a nutshell. If anyone has question, I will answer, but otherwise we will move on.
Brother Sairam, Rishi Mahadeva, how can we?
The Rishi means, so what the Lord himself takes avatar as a Rishi. Okay. Veda Vyasa is considered to be an avatar of Narayana himself.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah.
So I think no individual and no Rishi themselves have taken ownership of this, you can say so. So it's just attribute, everything we are attributed to the Lord. Because there are many rishis who did not even assign their names anywhere. No one even knew them. In such cases, it is considered the rishi who conceived that mantra and passed it on is the Lord himself. Okay, so I hope that answers your question.
Thank you.
We will go on to the mantra, the first mantra of this Tritiya Anuvaka, Tritiyo Anuvaka. Nama Sahamanaya Nivyadhina Avyadhininam Pataye Nama. Nama Sahamanaya Nivyadhina Avyadhininam Pataye Nama. Nama Sahamanaya Nivyadhina Avyadhininam Pataye Nama. In terms of pronunciation, the dhi, nivyadhi, is the fourth letter in the varga, so it has to be aspirated. Again, avyadhi also is fourth letter in the varga, which has to be aspirated. Okay. Nivyadhi, avyadhi. Let's look at the meaning. Namaha means salutation. Sahamanaya. Sahamanaya Namaha. Sahamanaya is the fourth vibhakti of the simple noun Sahamanaha. Okay. So to Sahamanaha, my salutation. Okay. To Sahamanaha, our salutation. So Sahamanaya. What is Sahamana? There are a couple of meanings given for this mantra. Saha stands for Sahana also. Sahana means one who has patience, who can put up with anything, who can take anything, who can withstand anything. Okay, so the Lord can withstand anything anyone throws also. He is patient also. Someone who has sahamat, okay, means one who is filled with sahana, that kind of sense. But saha also means one who can match anyone in strength. Okay, so sahamana is one who has stamina and the staying power and the ability to overcome anything in this world, anyone in this world. So that is the Lord. Okay, you can say people can hold abuse at the Lord will be unmoved. He can take anything. And he'll be the last person standing in this world. Everyone may die. Okay, that kind of meaning is also Sahaman. So he will withstand and overcome everything in this world. That Lord Rudra we are worshipping. The next one is Nivyadhine. Nivyadhine. To Nivyadhin or Nivyadi, which both can be used. Okay, Nivyadi. So again, it's fourth vibhakti, that means two. Nivyadin. Okay. Nivyadin, simple meaning is one who pierces, one who torments. Vyadhi means ailments also, vyadhi. Okay, which basically pierces our body, pierces our mind, hurts us. Anything which does that kind of hurting or piercing, causing pain, you can say, is vyadhin. And nivyadhin means that is it takes to another level. Okay, that kind of piercing. To that Lord also we worship. So the Lord who pierces, we worship. Okay. Avyadhininam is the next word. Avyadhininam. Again, it's sixth vibhakti. That means possessive. It possesses something. Of avyadhinyah. Avyadhinyah. That is plural, okay? Avyadini and avyadhinyah. Avyadini is singular, avyadhinyah is plural. That means lots of people, all the people who can pierce on all sides. The word "ar" gives that kind of meaning from everywhere. That kind of meaning it gives. Again, vyadhinya, again pierce from all sides, from all quarters. So there are many people who pierce us from all sides. He is the Lord of all of them. Okay, which you can say that's why I put an army which attack from all sides. Okay, the Lord controls it. But he is the Lord. See, when you say Lord, Pati means one who controls, one who has oversight over them. He can stop them, he can make them go. That is the word of Pati. Okay. Means you can't say, some people use the word leader, but we should see that he has control over them. He can protect them, he can control them, overlordship. Okay. So of things which attack us. So the salutations to the Lord who withstands and overcomes, the one who pierces, and the Lord of armies who attack from all sides. So it's all about suffering, you can say. So this mantra also tells us that we should be able to withstand. How does the Lord become the Lord? Because he is Sahamanaha. Any problem in this world, any difficulties in this world, any suffering, someone who can put up with it is the Lord himself. So it also tells us that we had to cultivate Sahamana to face the sufferings, the onslaught of any attack from all sides. To that Lord we worship, because if at all we have to overcome that, we need his help. And he will do our, once you surrender, he will do. So that comes through in this mantra. It also shows that even the sufferings in this world which we undergo are in his control, because he is the Pati. So that meaning also comes through. I have not given any excerpt from Swami's, but when we go through the other excerpts, I think you will understand. I just could not find anything which I liked, so I have not put anything. We can just take it as God wants us to cultivate Sahana, because he is the embodiment of Sahana, forbearance. Okay, having this quality of forbearance is the ultimate, and through worshipping him, we will also develop forbearance. The next mantra is Nama Kakubhaya Nishangine Stenanam Pataye Namaha. Nama Kakubhaya Nishangine sthenanam pataye namah. Nama kakubhaya vishangene sthenanam pataye namah. In terms of pronunciation, kakubhaya. Bha is the fourth letter in the pa varga, so it has to be aspirated. Kakubhaya. Nisha, the sha is cerebral sha, so the tongue has to be raised up. Nashangine sthenana pataye namaha. We'll look at the meaning. Namaha, salutation. Kakubhaya. Kakubhaya namaha. Kakubhaya means to Kakubhaha. Again, Kakubhaya is the fourth vibhakti or fourth case suffix of the simple noun Kakubaha. Okay. So to Kakubaha, our salutations. Who is this Kakubaha? One who is prominent. Okay. One who is distinguished. That means you can see the person who is visible, who stands out. This kind of meaning comes from Kakubaha. Okay. So the Lord, that means we should be able to see him everywhere because he stands out. It is just that we are unable to see, but the Lord stands out everywhere. Okay. Next meaning, Nishangine. Nishangine is again fourth vibhakti or fourth case suffix, which means to Nishangi. To Nishangi. So the meaning I have given here is what the commentators have given. One who has a sword in his hand. Anga means hand. Angi means whatever a person holds in his hand. Okay. Or Angi means limb. Also, Anga means its limb. Nishangi means he has something with which he can. He has a weapon. He has a weapon in his hand. You know, that kind of meaning comes through in Nishangi. Okay, so the Lord has a sword, some weapon. So to that Lord we are worshipping. Angi means any limb. He can hold a weapon in any limb. Every limb is also a weapon. That kind of meaning also you can take. So we looked at one who pierces. Now we are seeing one who has a sword in his hand. Okay. Sthenanam means, again here sixth vibhakti, which means a possessive form of the noun of sthenaha. So because of that, it's sixth vibhakti of, okay, belonging to, of sthenaha. Sthenaha is plural of sthenaha. Sthenaha is singular, sthenaha is plural. They are thieves who steal stealthily. You know, thieves, you know, this Anuvaka describes all sorts of thieves. There are some thieves who will steal only stealthily. You don't even know that they have entered and stolen. That kind of thieves are called Sthenaha. The Lord is the Lord of the such thieves. So in this world is full of thieves, you know, of all kinds. Some thieves, when they come, we don't even know that they have come and stolen and gone. The Lord is the one who is in control of them also. Who is in them and who is controls them. How does he control? He is in them. So this is the Sarvatmakaha Sarveshwara. He is the Lord of everything. He controls everything. They are also under his control. That meaning comes through. So some people get worried. Oh, he's the leader of the thieves. How can God be called the leader of the thieves? We should not use such terms. But Rudra is beyond all that. Good, bad, nothing. Everything is over, because it's just worshipping the Lord as the total Lord who is in control of everything in this world. Okay. So salutation is a prominent one. So he is prominent. At the same time, he is also controlling the ones which are still coming stealthily. Okay. So it covers both sides of the spectrum. Okay. The one who is prominent and one who holds a sword, and one who is the lord of thieves who steals stealthily. So this is the mantra. Now let's look at some what Swami has said, which I think elaborates the previous one and this one. So we'll take a look at them. I will read, it's a long quote, excerpt. I will read it and then we'll discuss. You must have God in your heart and recognize all living beings as equal. Sahamanaya. Sahamanaya. Saha also means equal. The first one. So God is the ultimate person who treats everyone as equal. In that equanimity, equal-mindedness, God is present. For him, there are no up and down, no one is higher, no one is lower, everyone is equal. Because at the Atmic sense, everything in this world is equal. Sahamanaya. You must make every effort to overcome the 4 obstacles. Because we also looked at Sahamanaya as something which overcomes, withstands and overcomes. Okay. Obstacles, namely lust, anger, attachment, and greed. So long as these thieves are in your home, there is no certainty that you will get the treasure of wisdom. But after driving away these thieves, you will get a bigger thief into your home, and that thief is God himself. That is why he has been called Chittachora, or one who steals your heart. Continue. The story goes that on one occasion, Krishna walked by Surdas, holding his hand for some distance. Surdas was a blind devotee of Krishna, who is quite well known as a devotee who has composed many songs. Surdas asked him if he was Krishna, and Krishna then let go of his hand. Then Surdas exclaimed, "How can I know you and understand you? You are smaller than the smallest particle that one knows. You are larger than the largest thing that one can conceive of. You are mightier than the 84 lakhs of created species. You are the biggest thief among big thieves. How can I understand you?" In recognition of the fact that God is the only one who can remove ego and ahankara from us, he has been called Madhusudana. This word is usually indicative of one who has conquered the demon by the name Madhu. But Madhu also means something which is sweeter than honey, and for man, his ego is sweeter than honey. Therefore, in this context, one who can completely destroy this ego is called Madhusudana. Thus, our ego, which is very sweet, can only be removed by God, who is also very sweet. We must have faith in him and give up our ego and move closer to God. If you do this, God himself will see when you have to be respected, when you have to be given, what you have to be given, and when. The entire thing will be his responsibility, and all will rest on God himself. Shankara's message is that you should remove these 4 thieves which are in the form of bad qualities within you. This is a discourse Swami gave in 1973. Another excerpt I have, read that. The question must be asked of everyone who is caring for the body. Okay, I think I will first, let's discuss this quote. See, I think we have earlier also looked at Rudra as the one who controls the mind. Ultimately, all the suffering which we inflict on ourselves come from our own mind and the qualities which come in. Things like ego, we don't even know that they exist in us. Jealousy comes in without our knowledge. So they enter our mind stealthily. We don't even realize that they are in there. They're hiding. And for them to be removed, only the Lord can help. So the real enemies which attack us stealthily in the mind, in the world, there may be other thieves in the physical world. But mentally, these are qualities which are thieves which enter without our knowledge. And the Lord is the one who is capable of controlling them. When we, even in those, if we see the Lord and pray to the Lord, Lord, you come, this thief is attacking us. Please control. The Lord can. Okay, so that comes through in this quotation of Swami. So the real thieves are the qualities which come into us without informing that they're coming in. They stealthily enter our mind and cause so much harm, so much suffering. Okay, so that's that. And now we will go to the next excerpt. The question must be asked of everyone who is caring for the body. For what purpose are you caring for this body? What is it that you hope to achieve? The body is a sheath, the scabbard for the sword, the jivi, the eye that is within it, but not of it. The purpose of the scabbard is to discover the unity of the universe. When you say that this is auditorium, this is the auditorium shed, you see this shed as one, though it is really the, I think it's, sorry, I have accepted, but I think it's called commingling of many pillars. Okay. Of many pillars, trusses, sheets, bricks, mortar, nuts, bolts, and paint. You feel you are one, though you are an organization of many limbs and instruments of knowledge, hands, feet, head, muscle, nerve, eye, tongue, teeth, etc. So also the universe is but one, though you may be able to distinguish stars and planets, rocks, trees and birds and birch and the antler in it. Whatever there is Sarvam Brahmamayam, all is Brahman, it is all Satchit Ananda, no more, no less. Realization of this great truth is the only purpose of man. With the sword in this scabbard, you have to march forward to victory in this mission against the force of pain, pleasure, joy, misery, blame, fame, profit, loss, success, defeat. The battlefield is the world. It has to be won, however long the struggle, however keen the battle. The Vedas encourage you to expand into awareness of this unity. The Veda mother calls every child to take up the heritage of infinity, Bhuma, as she names it. She says, child, you are that infinity, enclosed temporarily in this form. Tat tvam asi, that thou art. But few children respond to her call. Why? When the real Narayana himself comes and declares, son, you are Brahman, the infinity, the absolute, the eternal. Few respond to the call. Your insolence or ignorance cannot, however, diminish the authenticity of the Vedic announcement. So here, Swami is equating the sword with Jivi, our own Jivatma. So the Nishangine, what does the Lord have in his hand? It is our own Atma also is in his hand. And why that it is in his hand and what he will use with that sword, with our Jivatma, we have to overcome. That with that sword, we have to overcome the dualities or the enemies, all pain, pleasure, joy, misery, and all that. So the Buddhi is also called a sword, which can cut through everything. It can discriminate. So the Lord is the Lord of the Buddhi. He is the one who is present in us as discrimination, who can weigh what is permanent, what is impermanent, what is dual, what is one, unity, and so on. So the sword which the Lord holds is our own Atman, Jivatma. And the Buddhi which we can use to fight this war in this battlefield of world to overcome the dualities of life. We'll go on to the next mantra. Namo Nishangina Ishudhimate Taskaranam Pataye Namah. Namo Nishangina Ishudhimate Taskaranam Pataye Namah. Namo Nishangina Ishudhimate Taskaranam Pataye Namah. In terms of pronunciation, Nisha, the tongue should be up. Shangina is na. Ishu, again, sha, which is cerebral sha. Dhi is fourth letter in the third varga, so it has to be aspirated. Ishu dhi. Okay. Taskaranam Pataye Namaha. We look at the meaning. Namaha, salutation. Nishangine, to Nishangi. I think we looked at, the one who holds the weapon. In this mantra, the commentators have said the one who has an arrow in his hand. Okay, that's also a weapon. The reason is the next word, Ishudhimate, relates to a quiver of arrows. So because of that, I think they have given, because each mantra is related, all the words in the mantra are related to that concept. So they have given the weapon of arrow in the hand of the Lord. So Nishangine is fourth vibhakti, that's two Nishangi, salutation. Nishangine Namaha. The next word is Ishudhi. So you may see it says Nishangina. How come it's Nishangine? It's because of Sandhi. The Ne becomes Na. Okay, because of Sandhi, the A drops. Okay, that's how you say Nishangina. But when it's split apart, it's Nishangine. Okay. The next word is Ishudhimate. Again, it's fourth vibhakti, which means to Ishudhiman. To Ishudhiman. Ishudhiman is a simple noun, and this is the fourth form of that, fourth case suffix of that noun, which means to Ishudhiman. Ishuddhi, I think we have already looked at in the first Chanuvaka, I think. Quiver of arrows. Ishuddhi means quiver of arrows. Ishuddhiman means one who has quiver that he is filled with quivers of arrows, you can say. I have just put a quiver of arrows where he can have many quivers of arrows also. Next one is, give me a minute. So next word is Taskaranam, means here it's the sixth vibhakti, which means belonging to or of Taskaraha. Of Taskaraha. Who are these Taskarahas? They are robbers who steal openly. So daylight robbery, you can say. People who engage in daylight robbery, for them, he is the Lord. So the Lord also controls these daylight robbers. In broad daylight, they come, they threaten and rob you and go. So in the worldly sense, that's the meaning. So salutations to the one who has an arrow in his hand, one who has a quiver of arrows, and the Lord of robbers who steal openly. Okay. We look at the, I have excerpted from Swami's discourses, and then we will discuss the meaning. Who are the robbers who openly steal? The senses can do nothing by themselves. They are not independent. If the mind is brought under control, the senses can also be controlled. Some people undergo mere asceticism of the senses in order to control the mind. They are ignorant of the real discipline that is necessary. The real discipline is the destruction of desire. However vigilant warders may be, the clever robber can still steal in 100 amazing ways. So too, however skillfully you may try to control the senses, the mind will drag them to its side and execute its desires through them. Note how the sage Vishwamitra, in spite of his austerities, fell before the wiles of the celestial nymphs as Apsaras sent by Indra to tempt him. If only the outer door is closed and the inner door is left unbolted, calamity is certain. But if both exterior and interior doors are safely bolted, you can sleep peacefully, for no thief, however clever, will find it easy to enter and do harm. Therefore, the aspirant should establish mastery over the external senses. Then the mind, immersed in the continuous succession of subject-object, Vishya relationship, has to be controlled by means of peace, Shanti, and renunciation, Vairagya. When that is done, one can experience real spiritual bliss, Ananda, and visualize the Atma in its real form. That is why Krishna once told Arjuna, those who aspire to have mastery over the senses must have full faith in me. The senses are always extrovert in nature. They are greedy for external contacts. Therefore, they drag the ignorant perpetually toward external objects. So, the spiritual aspirant, endowed with discrimination and renunciation, must place obstacles in their outward path and suppress their outbursts, just as the charioteer wielding the whip and the reins does to the raging steeds. Uncontrolled senses cause great harm. People in their grip cannot engage themselves in meditation even for a single second. So this excerpt is from Dhyanavahini. So now you know who the open daylight robbers are. You know the senses. They are active when we open our eyes. Those robbers are stealing our peace of mind. They cause us so much harm. So they steal our peace, any bliss we have, any happiness we have, everything is stolen by these external thieves, robbers. And the mind has, desire comes in from inside, which we have looked at, stealthily come. So one is Tenanam Patiyanam, the other one is Taskaranam Patiyanam. So from our spiritual perspective, the inner enemies and the outer enemies. Senses go out and cause problem, looking at the world and objects, and the inner enemies also, without our knowledge, they come in. So the Lord is the one who controls everything. And praying to the Lord, as Swami has said, Krishna told Arjuna, for you to overcome, you have to have total faith in me. So that's what the Rudram tells. You Pataye Namaha, you surrender to the Lord. Okay, so these through come clearly. So now you will understand why Rudram is called Upanishad also, because it has so many meanings at many levels. In the worldly sense, we can look at even the bad people and say the Lord is controlling them. Even to overcome them, we may have to pray to the Lord, so they will be unable to cause us any harm. You all know how Prahlada, who was tormented by his father, was not touched because Prahlada totally thought of the Lord. So suffering caused by external agencies will not touch us if we surrender to the Lord. That comes through in the past few mantras. We will look at the next mantra. Namo vanchate parivanchate sthayunam pataye namaha. Namo vanchate parivanchate sthayunam pataye namaha. Namo vanchate parivanchate sthayunam pataye namaha. In terms of pronunciation, it should be pretty simple. There are no aspirated letters. So we'll look at the meaning. Namaha, salutation, vanchate. Again, it's fourth vibhakti, which means to vanchan. To vanchan. One who is a cheat. Vanchan is one who is a cheat. In Tamil, we will say vanchanai seibavar. Okay. This is vanchan. Okay. Whoever is a cheat. So we pray to the Lord who is the cheat. Okay. Oh, the Lord who is within that cheat also. Controlling. After all, the Atman within a person who cheats also is the Lord. So we don't look at the external person who is cheating, we look at the inside of that person and try to find the Lord there also and surrender to that Lord, not to the person who is cheating. Namo vanchate. Okay. Vanchate namaha. The next word is parivanchate. To parivancha. Okay. So it's again fourth vibhakti. So that's why to parivancha, salutation. Parivanchate namaha. Parivanchate means one who cheats in manifold ways. There's no way, he will. So some people just cheat once, some people cheat in many different ways. Parivanchate. To such a Lord also we worship. Okay, so you can see the Lord, they will see you are a cheat Lord, or you are the best cheat in every way. I will bow down to you also. Sthayunam means, again, here sixth vibhakti, as in every mantra you can see similar format. Sthayunam means a possessive form of sthayavaha. Again, it's plural. Sthayuhu is the singular. Sthayuhu. Sthayavaha is the plural of sthayavaha means sthayunam. Sthayunam means those who pretend to be one's own and then cheat. Okay, sorry, Anyone who has printed, please take a note. I have made a few mistakes again, as usual. I will edited version. I will save again. So there are some who will think they are our friends, our people. They're on your side, but then they cheat. Okay, for such people, also the Lord is the Lord. He is the one who is in control of them. Okay. Salutation to the one who is a cheat, one who cheats in manifold ways. The Lord of cheats who pretends to be one soul. Okay, so the Lord has control over them also. So again, whenever we encounter such things, we should bow down to the Lord and say, Lord, your will it is. Somebody is cheating me. You are the one without whom this can happen. I bow down to you. You must be having your own reason. You are doing it for my own benefit. I bow down to you. So it's all, you can see these are all forms of surrender. Namaha, you bow down. Not to the person who is cheating, not to the external manifestation, but to the Atman within, the God within. That's Asarvatmaka. He is the Atman in everyone, the inner resident. So, some excerpts of Swami, we'll first look at them. Children have unselfish love. They are innocent onlookers. They observe the action of the elders and they learn their lessons from home much earlier than from school. So parents have to be very careful in their behavior with the children and between themselves. There was a judge who used to come to Shirdi. He asked his wife and child to stay with Baba and left for home for a few days. He said to the boy when he left, "This is God himself." That's about Shirdi Sai Baba. After some time, they fell in with a person from Katak. Okay, that's a thing. Just, I think that should be Katak, who was reciting musically some Puranic story. Within a few minutes, they heard him revile Sai Baba as a madman and a cheat. The child could not stand it. He tugged at his mother's sari and forced her to return to Baba. Next morning, they approached Baba for his blessings and he asked them why they had returned. The incident of the Katak was duly reported. Okay. The boy heard everyone addressing Baba as the Lord. Remembering the harsh words of the Katak, the boy wept. But Baba pacified him humorously. "I am only a man. What the Katak said is true. I am mad and I am cheating people of what they consider very valuable, but what I feel is useless." Then even as they were talking, one Mr. Patel came there and related how Baba had saved his child from a serious accident. Baba told him, "Yes, I held him when he fell with my 4 hands." Patel shed tears of thankfulness, but the boy cried out, I told you, you are God. You have 4 hands like Vishnu." Baba laughed. He took the boy inside and gave him a vision of himself as having 4 hands. That boy stayed on in Shirdi for 26 years after this and left it only after Baba left. He then became a renunciant and became a great sage. So the Lord is saying he's a cheat. He cheats us of things which are of no value to us. But we think they are valuable. So that is the cheat God is. He becomes ours and he will take away all that we think is the beneficial one for us, which actually is the real cheat. All the things in this world are cheating us, taking away our time, taking away our life, taking away all of our efforts. We are running after money, we are running after this, position, power, anything in this world. Accumulate properties. None of them are useful because we can't take them anywhere. But we spend all of our time, energy, everything in accumulating all this. So actually all these things in the world are the real cheats. But we don't even know that they are cheats. We think they are on our side. But they have taken our life away, time away, energy away, effort away, our youth away, everything they have taken. But we still think they are beneficial. But the Lord says these are all useless, they don't come with you. So the real cheats are whatever in this world we think is ours. But the Lord knows better. And He will take away those things which are cheating us of our own life. That is the cheat we are praying to. Stayunam pataye namaha. Vanchate, parivanchate. So anything which, even if we are eating something sweet, we eat that again and again, that will cause us harm. So actually that has caused us harm, that has cheated us. But we thought it was on our side, it was making us enjoy it. But that has robbed us our health, our life, it's made us suffer. But the Lord is the real cheat who will cheat us out of all that. To that Lord, Vanchate Parivanchate Stayunam Pataye Nama. Because He controls that. Okay, next mantra. Namo Nicherave Paricharayaranyanam Pataye Nama. Namo Nicherave Paricharayaranyanam Pataye Nama. Namo Nicherave Paricharayaranyanam Pataye Nama. This is a very simple. There are no complications in this pronunciation in my view. So I will just move on to the meaning. Namaha, salutation. Nicherave. Again, fourth vibhakti. Nicherave Namaha. To Nicherave, Nicheruhu, salutations. Nicherave is the fourth vibhakti, the fourth case suffix of Nicheruhu. Okay. Like Guruhu, Gurave. You know, if many of you may be familiar, Guruhu, Gurave, Nicheruhu, Nicherave. And for people who think Rave looks like the second ka, okay, but it's Rave, okay, Nicherave, Nicheruhu. One who is a Nicheruhu? One who sneaks to see. He sneaks in, who slips in, and that is, so it's like stealthily, but this person comes out somewhere, and wherever you go, he will slip in. Nicherave. Slippery, and people say that person is slippery. They will say, you are not dependable. Things slip away. Nicheru. The next word is paricharaya. Again, fourth vibhakti. Paricharaya namaha. That is to paricheraha. So paricharaha. Paricharaya is to paricharaha. Salutation. Who is paricharaha? Charaha means to move. Okay. Paricharaha means who is moving everywhere, wandering everywhere. One who roams about to steal. Okay. Aranyanam. Aranyanam is sixth, okay, which means belonging to Aranya, okay, of Aranya. Sixth vibhakti. Aranya means people who reside in the forest. So these are robbers in the jungles, forests. Okay, they will suddenly appear and slip in and steal. There are people who roam around in the jungle. Okay, so for all such thieves, the Lord is the controller. So these are different kind of robbers. There is no law. There is no law enforcement. Aranya. Okay, they will rob in any way possible. Then, if you get to the jungle or forest, these are the robbers you find there. Nicheruhu, Paricharaha, okay, Aranya. The Lord is there in everything, all of them also. Oh, I see. I didn't. I will write the summary later and say sorry about it. Must have missed. Okay, so basically you can. So salutation to the Lord who sneaks to steal, who's slippery, one who roams about everywhere, and who is the thieves in the forest. Now we'll look at some excerpts from Swami. There was a mother-in-law once who declared with evident satisfaction, "My daughter-in-law passed away, no doubt, but what a wonder, the terrible fever she was suffering from disappeared in a trice." I'll read again. There was a mother-in-law once who declared with evident satisfaction, "My daughter-in-law passed away, no doubt, but what a wonder, the terrible fever she was suffering from disappeared in a trice." The fever is not the prime thing. Her life is the crucial object to be cared for. So too, the student should know how to live a contented, peaceful, happy life. That is more important than a degree or a class in examination. The journey into the inner consciousness to calm the storms that rage there is more important than the journey to the moon or Mars. The latter may be more spectacular, but the former is more beneficial. Life without goodness, good thoughts, good actions, good words is like sky in the night. Without the moon or stars, it is like a wheel without a hub or spokes. No one can push a boulder away while standing on it. You cannot be free from anxiety while all the entrances through which it sneaks in are open. Stop catering to the senses and feeding the desire that haunt you. You may wonder why did I pick this up? I picked it up because of anxiety which sneaks in. When you go into this world and do all sorts of things, suddenly anxiety will stick. We are anxious about everything in this world, that we are unable to achieve something. We are scared that we may lose something. A fear suddenly. See, when you go into the jungle, there's always fear of losing something or being lost. Anxiety of all kinds sneaking. That is the one which slips. Wherever we go, we are anxious. We are afraid of this, we are afraid of that. When you go into the jungle, fear is the one which comes in this world. Swami is giving why this fear comes in is because we are externally focused. He's saying Mars, moon people want to go and they think that is the best journey. But Swami says inner consciousness, going there is more important. That's why Swami is giving the example, mother-in-law, her daughter-in-law was suffering from some high fever, could not be diagnosed, suffering for a long time, and one day she died. The mother-in-law said, okay, today the fever has also died. But Swami said, fever dying is no use. The person has died. So sometimes, for the sake of the world, we are giving up our own state of mind, peace of mind. And we are more worried about gaining something in the external world while giving up something precious in our own heart, our own mind. So that is the anxiety which sneaks in and steals the peace of mind. So that is the one which the Lord is. Nicherave, nicheruhu, paricharaya. It is there to attack from everywhere, fears of all kinds. Just so we look at this world like a jungle where we are unable to, we are always scared, afraid. The Lord is the controller of all that. Namo nicherave paricharayaranyana pataye namah. Another excerpt of Swami. The guards at the gate have to be vigilant that the thieves do not gain entrance into the house, isn't it? The body of man is a temple where God is installed. The guards are Shama and Dhamma, the control of the senses and of the emotions. If they are inefficient or idle, lust and greed, anger and envy, hate and pride sneak in, spread and hold sway over the temple. Man is so deluded that he honors these thieves as if they are masters of the house and they have stolen into. Be master of your own mind. Be awake. Arise and confront the thieves before they capture your treasure. That treasure is the awareness of God in all. If there were no thieves in the house, the master can utilize the treasure to his own advantage, but when the thieves are in, he is incapable of benefiting by his kinship with creation. He feels that he is the body, that he is distinct and alone, that he is surrounded by friends and foes, and afflicted by conspiracies to harm him. He does not love others intensely. He suffers from fear or fondness. This is quote from 20th October 1969. So the Lord is the one who can relieve us of all these type of thieves also. Nicherave paricharayaranyana pataye namah. We'll go to the 6th mantra. Nama srikavibhyo jigagum sadhyo mushnatam pataye namah. Nama srikavibhyo jigagum sadhyo mushnatam pataye namah. Nama srikavibhyo jigagum sadhyo mushnatam pataye namah. In terms of pronunciation, you need to pay attention to bhya, ubhyo. Okay, this ub is the 4th letter in the pa varga, so it has to be aspirated. Jigha, this is the 4th letter in the ka varga, so it has to be also aspirated. Jigha, gha, jigha. This is gum. This only comes through in chanting. For the meaning purposes, I will remove it because it is. I think I've already explained how sometimes anuswara becomes gum in Yajurveda chanting. Jigagham sadbhyo. Okay, here it's actually there are 3 letters b and ya. Okay, there are 3 letters, so it's a bit tricky. Ud, b, and ya. That b is 4th letter in the pa varga. Okay, so jigha sadbhyo. So this word I think we have to practice a bit. Gha is aspirated. Ud, b is b is aspirated. There is udbhyo. Udbhyo. Mushnatam, this ush is also cerebral usher, so the tongue should be raised towards the roof of the mouth. Mushnatam pataye namah. Namasrika vibhyo jighagum sadhyo mushnatam pataye namah. Namasrika vibhyo jighagum sadhyo mushnatam pataye namah. We look at the meaning. Namah, salutation. Srika vibhya. Okay. Srika vibhya is the fourth vibhakti of Srikavayah. It's plural, okay? Srikavayah is a plural noun. To Srikavayah means Srikavibhyah. Okay. Srikavibhyah namaha. To Srikavayah namaha. So we are seeing the Lord as a plural. As a collection of everything is also the Lord. Here all this time you are looking at one person and bowing down. In this mantra, you are looking at all of them and they are them as one person, one Lord. Srikavibhyah namaha. And that's this diversity also we see the one Lord that comes through in this mantra. Srikavayah. Who is Srikavayah? Srikavayah, all those who are protected with armor. They're wearing things which protection. some form of shield. Okay. And they wear those who are those. Oh, I see those who are. No, I don't think I've written. Sorry. Okay, those who have protection of an armor. So that means there's something which protects them. To all those we bow down. Okay, which are protected. The next one is Jigam Sadhya. So as you can see, Gum has now become because the Gum is only for pronunciation or chanting purposes. Jigam Sadhya. This is also fourth vibhakti of a plural noun, that is to Jigam Santaha. Jigam Santaha. Okay. What is Jigam Santaha? Those who desire to kill animals. People who are killing animals, who hunt, go for hunting for animals. To them also we bow down. Okay. Hunters of animals. Jigham Santaha. So Jigham Sabhyah. Okay. Jigham Sabhyah Namaha. Jigham Sabhyah Namaha means to Jigham Santaha salutation. To Jigham Santaha salutation. That means salutation to those who desire to kill animals. The next one is Mushnatam, which is sixth vibhakti, which is the possessive form of Mushnantaha. Okay, it is Mushnantaha. Of Mushnantaha means Mushnatam, belonging to Mushnantaha. Okay. So he is the Lord of those who steal crops and wealth. Okay, Mushnata means people who are stealing crops and wealth from us. In this, the word Mushna comes from the word Mush. For people who are, many of you are Tamils, so Mosam Seyiravar. Vancham Seyiravar. We have looked at all kinds of negative personalities. Here, these are people who Mosadi Seyiravar. Mushnata. Okay, so I hope you understand it better. Okay, so people who are protected, well protected, so nothing can harm them. Then who decide to kill animals, and those who steal crops and wealth. So all kinds of atrocities people commit. Their Lord bowed down. That's one meaning when we look at the world, because the Lord is the one who is within them also. Okay. So salutation to those who are protected in armor, those who desire to kill animals, and to the Lord of those who steal crops and wealth. Okay. So that is the meaning. So in worldly sense also, it means we should be able to see the divinity which is operating in such people also. And the only way we can overcome them also to connect to the divinity within that person, or worship the Lord who is within everyone. So that's from that sense we can take this. I will go through some of the excerpts from Swami. Truth and dharma are the most effective armor for us. Other countries rely on atom bombs and hydrogen bombs. For us, these two shields are enough. Some of you know, I believe the story of Pandavas. Dharmaraja, born of Dharma, was the eldest brother. He had on either side of him the brothers Bhima and Arjuna. On either side of Bhima and Arjuna stood the two other brothers, Nakula and Sahadeva. Arjuna was the embodiment of the clear, sharp intellect, and Bhima was the symbol of physical might and heroism. The lesson conveyed by this picture of the brothers is, when dharma or righteousness is supported on either side by intellectual might and physical valor, success is assured. Only the two, namely intellect and courage, must obey the dictates of dharma and not decry it or disregard it as directives. So the protection, who are the ones who are protected? I mean, those who are protected by truth and dharma are also worthy of worship. So we can see Shrikavibhyaha means those who are well protected by truth and armor, to them also our bow down. So that meaning is also possible in this mantra, Shrikavibhyo. Another excerpt, the divine name saves and liberates. It is armor against the onslaughts of pride and self-pity. When pious repetition of holy name or sacred formula is started by you in a systematic manner, fixing your inner eye on the form that illustrates the name, you will meet with many obstacles. Disquieting thoughts and enticements, they should be ignored, bypassed, treated lightly. Strengthen your habits, stick to your discipline, improve your inner administration, mix more on the company of the good and the godly. The unruly bull has to be roped and tamed, its noose bored and ringed. It has to be yoked and trained to drag heavy loads and become the docile servant of its master. Some people condemn the 6 passions as dire enemies and advise you to eject them outright. But I would advise you to keep them with you as docile servants, useful for your purposes. Hate those who slight the name of the Lord and tell you that it is a hollow, meaningless sound. Hate them so much that you avoid them forever. I like this excerpt because the ones who are protected by the divine name, to them we bow down. Then one who want to decide to kill the animals. So Swami says the animals are bull, unruly bull, has to be nose and board. It has to be controlled. And he says the 6 passions are also like animals which are wild, which has to be controlled. Strikavitya jigam sadhyo. Mushnatam, what they try to do, Mushnatam, they steal whatever you have. As Swami says, if you look at because the 6 enemies have to be, you will meet many obstacles, disquieting thoughts, enticements. That means these enemies come and try to steal all that you have gained. Mushnata. But the Lord is in control, so just surrender to Him. So even in the path of spirituality, the armor is the divine name. The animals which are to be controlled are the enemies. And their enticement, they try to fool us, trick us. Ushnata, so that they rob us of all the wealth we have gained. So we have to be careful, and we should overcome them by praying to the Lord who is in control of them. So that's why I like this excerpt. The last excerpt. When we look at the other categories of animals like lions, tigers, we see that man hates them and even tries to kill them. It's essential for us to understand the inner meaning and significance of our trying to kill some animals while we respect and adore other class of animals. The sattvic qualities of a group of animals represented by the cow, the rajasic qualities of a group of animals represented by the tiger are responsible for the difference of approach. We know that all of the animals in this world to take as a human being is very difficult matter. Having attained this difficult human birth, we should not behave at any time like an animal. We should think and take note of this aspect. The reason for this mainly the kind of food that we take. The kind of food that we take determines the kind of behavior that we develop. If a tiger enters a herd of cows, then the cows cannot survive and live. So also, as in the analogy, in the heart of man there are good and sattvic qualities comparable to the qualities of a cow. If into that group of good qualities we send the food represented by the rajasic qualities of the tiger, it is impossible for the good to survive any longer. If you put seeds in a land which is not fertile, the seeds are not going to sprout. So also in a man who has rajasic qualities in his heart, the kind of sattvic qualities like puja or compassion cannot thrive. It therefore becomes necessary for man to do such things which the field of his heart can be purified and cleansed. Therefore, man in this life must take courage and move forward in his journey of life. So the animals are the animal qualities in us. Jigagum sadhyo. We have to kill the animal qualities in us. Swami says rajasic qualities like tigers have to be killed. And qualities of a cow of sattvic nature have to be looked after so that they are not stolen. Mushnatam. Okay. So in the spiritual journey, animality has to be overcome. We have to be well protected by the armor of God's name and Satya and Dharma. And we should be ever vigilant of things which can entice us by anything and trick us into losing what we treasure most. So these things come through in these mantras. They have multiple dimensions of meaning. Whichever is useful for our spiritual growth, we can take. And without even understanding the meaning, understanding that let us bow down and surrender to the Lord, that itself is take us far. So that's all I have prepared for today. I will stop here. If there are any questions, if I have the answer, I will share. Sai Ram, all of you. I think there are no questions, so I will say I can close the session with prayers and we'll continue next week. Sai Ram. समस्तलोका सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोका सुखिनो भवन्तु समस्तलोका सुखिनो भवन्तु ॐ शान्ति 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 Sai Ram everyone.